I've got the looks and the charm of an old movie star. Cary Grant, if you will, so I find it bizarre that this girl should refuse to step into my car. She must be shy, she'll come around, it's just a matter of time. Aurora, Aurora.
Hey there, Screen Beans, and welcome to Screen Snark, a show that celebrates all of the media that are in our eyes, on our minds, and in our hearts. I am Rachel Quirky Shank.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
Hello, Matt.
Hello, Rachel.
I said media today instead of shows because I said this is a show, and I didn't want to confuse our listenership.
I mean...
This isn't really a show. This is a radio program, I suppose.
What's this radio you speak of? Is that like those old things with dials on them? I don't understand.
All I hear is Radio Gaga. Radio Goo
Goo Goo. Yeah.
You know.
I mean, as a Queen fan,
Radio blah blah.
that's all I hear too. I appreciate the constant work to evolve our intro to the show, so it guarantees you will almost always have to remember it every time we do it.
I always have to take a nice solid, for the listeners at home or at work or on your commute or wherever you are, I always have to take a good solid 30 seconds before I open my mouth, because I'm just like, which one is this one? How does this one start? Every single time, because I'm just like, wait, what? I have the memory of a goldfish, but you know what? Someone who has transcended my goldfish memory to be a lasting friend for me, a fellow D&D compatriot, a costumer, a mathematician, and an all-around, amazing badass lady. Today on the show, we have Liz McGlone. Welcome to the show, Liz.
I'm so happy to be here, Rachel.
I'm so glad you're
Hooray.
here. Yeah. Looking so fresh and so clean in your purple shirt. That's the best thing I had to go off of.
I'm so excited that we have a mathematician here, because I'll have some fun questions later.
Oh, boy. Yeah, it's great to be around Liz and to watch her react to math in the way I react to, memes. Maybe better, because, I love memes, but I don't know memes. Liz knows math. How you doing today, Liz?
I'm doing good. I'm a little worried about what actual mathematicians will think of me being called a mathematician.
I think you're my mathematician.
Aw.
Yeah. She's my mathematician. Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, I'm excited to learn more about you, Liz, over the course of this podcast. Of course, to start, as we always do, we will talk about the things we've been watching most recently, be them movies, be them TV shows, internet videos, pretty much any type of visual media you can put in your face.
Yeah, I call it passive media, because whereas I feel that video games are active media where you are taking a huge part in it, passive media.
Yeah, and I think that there are some video games that could probably be considered passive media, but they're not the primary type of video game.
What video game would you consider passive? I'm interested to know, because to me, I think it's the visual novel, but even then, you're still making choices.
That's true. There are some walking simulators where you're mostly having the story happen to you. There's not even quick time events, and I would consider those almost passive. I mean, even then, you're still engaging or choosing a direction to some degree. But then, I mean, to the other hand, things like the Bandersnatch is not passive. And so... That's
true. But it also rings very much like a choose your own adventure game. I feel that Bandersnatch is very gamified in what it is.
Yeah, totally.
Look at us go. We're already dissecting media we love before we've even done the recap.
Yeah, right? This is a new record for us.
I know. We're really on our bullshit today.
We are. I mean, we always are, but we're really
always
are.
On our bullshit. You're right.
I'm glad you brought up video games, though, because honestly, the media I've been consuming the most is the newest Fire Emblem game for the Nintendo Switch, Three Houses. And while this is not a video game podcast, I just want to say briefly that it's the first piece of entertainment I've engaged in a while that has surprised me at every turn. It's a series I've never played. I've never played any of the Fire Emblem games, and this game has hooked me. I'm already 40 plus hours in, and every time I think I figured it out, there's another story twist that really throws me, and it's just been really engaging and really well written, voice acted. it's a great example of what I think high quality video games are and should be.
Yeah. I will say, if we're going to talk Fire Emblem just for a second, for me that is passive media because my partner John really likes to play it and I just want to watch the story part. So essentially, like, he plays all the battles and then I watch all the cutscenes. So I am actually passively consuming Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I like about it most is its story. So the other stuff, while fun, is not what I'm engaging with it for, and I think that's okay. But this is a conversation for another one of my podcasts and not this one. So we'll have to bring you and John on that show so you can talk about Fire Emblem Three Houses.
For sure, because I would love to do that. I would love to hang out with John and have him explain why Fire Emblem is great. And then I just get to be like, but Hilda's so pretty. It's fine. I love Hilda because she doesn't want to work and I don't want to work either. So.
And you both have pink hair of some stripe, or did.
Yeah, it's true. I bet Hilda would be the most likely to do a podcast.
I would say of the Golden Deer House, definitely.
Yeah.
Either her or Claude would be the most likely to do a podcast, I'd say.
You think if Hilda and Claude did a podcast, it would be similar to this one?
Probably. I am happy to be.
Okay, listen. Can someone out there just draw up Matt and me as Hilda and Claude doing this show? I ask for very little in the world, but something about that's very great.
I would love that. I feel like Katie Bug, who did our lovely logo and was a previous guest, is a Fire Emblem fan and can draw. So I'm hoping that she will make that happen. But anyhow,
that would rule. Okay, we're done with this. Matt, what did you watch?
So the thing I've been watching the most recently is I've actually been binging a show. So how familiar are both of you with the show that used to be on the air, Mythbusters?
I have been watching Mythbusters to go to sleep. It just dropped on Hulu. So yes, I've been watching Mythbusters. It's not the most recent thing I've seen, but I've been watching Mythbusters. Have you watched any Mythbusters, Liz?
Not recently, but I loved it as a child.
Yeah,
so.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the
it was
reason,
like a big thing for a while.
So the reason I bring it up is because one of the two gentlemen who made that show happen, Adam Savage, has gone on to do other different things, and I've stayed a fan of his. He has a podcast. He works on a network called Tested, which is a YouTube channel that he does with a bunch of other people. Yeah. And very recently, he got a new show on Discovery, which is where Mythbusters used to live, called Savage Builds. And that's what I've been watching. And what Savage Builds is it takes the special effects knowledge that he's had and his knowledge as a maker, which he's been proselytizing about for ages and done Maker Faire after Maker Faire. It's the idea of if a maker with a budget wanted to make a thing a reality, could he? And so, like, the first episode was, can you build a real working Iron Man suit? And the short answer is, yes, you can.
Amazing.
Spoilers for this. I'm kidding. It's fine.
And so, like, while it didn't fire repulsors, it did fly. It did protect him. Like, it was a 3D printed titanium Iron Man suit. And it was...
Oh, that's very cool.
Based on the Mark I. And it was amazing.
This is on Discovery?
It is on Discovery.
How are you watching this show?
So, I have a login to cable provider, which allows me to watch it on Discovery's page.
Very cool. Very cool.
And so the show's been great. I'm on the second to last episode of the first season, which is really bonkers because he's trying to the director Peter Jackson restores old school World War II fighter planes, and he has a bunch of them. There's a museum where he lives, and so Adam wanted to create a simulated dogfight using two of those planes using modern technology and special effects. So essentially laser tag with dogfighting planes. And I haven't watched all of it yet. And he doesn't always succeed at everything he sets out to do. But
I mean,
it's
failure
really
is
exciting.
always an option.
Yeah, and when he does fail, he does go into the details of it. And there have been several episodes where they failed. I think the coolest episode they've done is he tried to rebuild the ZF-1 pod weapon from Fifth Element. So for those who've seen Fifth Element, if you remember Zorg, played by the incredible Gary Oldman, has a giant weapon that fires 6, I think, different things. So a rocket launcher, a net, homing bullets, flamethrower, a whole bunch of stuff, ice ray. Man. And so
The
Adam
Fifth
Savage,
Element had a lot going on, didn't it?
so much. It's still one of my all-time favorite sci-fi movies. But this weapon, Adam has built replica after replica of it, but now he wanted to build a working one that has all of those pieces. And long story short, he did. It wasn't easily wieldable, but still wieldable, and it was insane. And there's a section of the episode where he actually he mails Gary Oldman one of the replicas he made, and then talks to Gary Oldman about the weapon and about the movie. And it was just, it's just a really cool kind of inside nerdy, like layers of nerdiness that I really appreciate, because at the end of the day, Adam Savage is just a big old nerd who has the capacity to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've been watching, and it's a blast. And if you liked Mythbusters and you were a fan of that show, I definitely highly recommend watching Savage Builds if you can get to it, because it's essentially a grown ass man who has the heart of a child making whatever the hell he wants, and it's pretty neat.
I like that. So, do you have any questions about it?
Oh, no, yeah. Is this the show he built a working Totoro cosplay with, like, blinking eyes and stuff like this?
So it wasn't for this show. That was for his YouTube channel, Tested. Whenever Adam goes to a convention, he does Adam Incognito, where he builds a costume, and then he sees if he can get around the con without being recognized. And one of the earlier ones that he did, because he's a giant Totoro fan, is built a Totoro costume. And then I think the following year, they did a Totoro meetup where a ton of other makers made their own homemade Totoros. And they did like a giant photo shoot, which was awesome.
So sweet.
I would hug all of those
I
Totoros.
would pay so much money to attend something like that.
Yeah, can I just go and just sit on a Totoro?
Yeah, it's funny. His most recent Adam Incognito is he was at I forget which convention, but he went as Star-Lord. And,
cool.
But with the mask, and it lit up and everything. But he, after being on the floor for like 5 minutes, someone recognized his hairline and was like, "Oh, are you Adam Savage?" And then like that was it. He was taking photos the whole day, which he loves. But like it was like the worst record he ever had for trying to stay incognito on the floor, because people instantly recognized him because the top of his head was exposed, which is bananas to me.
I want to achieve the kind of fame that people would recognize me from my hairline.
Right?
Said the person who changes the color and style of her hair almost constantly. That's a big ask, actually. I take it back. What I said before, I take it back, because that actually is really hard to do to people, because I always look different. Never mind. Forget I said anything.
Okay.
No, I'm keeping up on your hairstyles, Rachel. So as a fan of you, I would recognize you.
Oh, boy.
Well, then.
Goodness. So, Matt Storm, if you had 3 words to describe Savage Builds for our audience as either a glowing recommendation or a way to help illuminate their path as they partake in this program, what 3 words would those be? I get wordier every time with this.
Well,
I feel like I'm giving you time to think.
Well, I appreciate that, because I give
no
you no
worries.
runway. I just ask you what your 3-word review is, and you go, I think, whereas you allow me to do that internally while you spiel for a while, which is called good improv. Thank you. Yes, and.
Mine's like yes, and.
So my 3-word review is actually straight to the point, and I would say savagely building stuff.
I like it.
I highly recommend it if you're a fan of good reality TV, which is like the non-dramatic making stuff or doing stuff reality TV. This show is just another great one of those. And if you're a fan of Mythbusters or Adam Savage on any level, it's definitely a must-watch, because it's just it's very straight and to the point, and it's not even as like showy as Mythbusters was, which had like a curated narrative and like the awesome VO from the guy who did the whole series. Like this is definitely more like behind the scenes, Adam just talking passionately about what he loves, and it's more stripped down, and I think it's great.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to work with somebody he doesn't like. And
Correct.
That doesn't like him.
They didn't like each other?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Jamie Heineman and Adam Savage were not friends. It's okay. The thing about them and their dynamic, and they both have spoken super openly and honestly about it, is they weren't chums. And didn't really like each other personally, but they like deeply respected each other in the way they worked. And that's why the show could go as long as it did. It was just like they had a really good like professional working element. They just like didn't want to hang out.
Yeah. Which
You know.
I think made the show stronger personally.
Yeah, cuz like there was always that like feeling of just like a little bit of tension that was like evocative, and you're like, what is happening? Like, what is this like feeling that is between these two? And it's very like this like two very competent artists like not really seeing eye to eye, but like working together anyway. Because it was Jamie Heineman who was originally asked to do Mythbusters. Welcome to my corner where I talk about trivia about stuff. This is the thing. Like, I don't know much, but I do know dumb stuff. But Jamie Heineman was originally approached by Discovery to do this show. It wasn't called Mythbusters. It was called something else, but the idea was the same. Like, he was going to, like, try and recreate common film tropes, I guess. But he didn't really want to do it by himself, so he actually enlisted Adam Savage to be his co-host. So, like, Jamie Heineman got Adam Savage the job. Yeah. Which was really neat. And then, like, in the last couple seasons, they got rid of the build team, and I just got to that point while watching Mythbusters, and I was just like, where'd the build team go? What happened?
Yeah, Grant, Tori, and what's her name? Carrie, thank you. They went their separate ways. The three of them did another show on Netflix, which didn't last, that I watched. White Rabbit. And I watched it, and it was okay. Oh, I love their personalities. I'm not quite sure why they split. I think they were just trying to tighten up the show and pare it down.
It was actually contract negotiations. There was just like some budgetary like constraints, and like negotiations broke down in like that arena, and so they just like parted ways very amicably with the build team. But it was just, I think it just had a lot to do with like each season that goes on for a show, like you have to pay the talent more, and I think it just was a lot. And like around that time, like the ratings for Mythbusters were going down, because like I don't remember watching the ending of Mythbusters. It was just like I stopped watching it one day, you know, and I think that happened with a lot of people.
So the show was just Jamie and Adam?
Yeah, for like a couple. Like
it was two seasons, maybe? I believe. Yeah, the last two seasons were just the two of them.
Yeah.
That feels ill-advised.
I mean, it was still good. It was more focused. They did more specials, and like they had guests on for certain like movie-related stuff. But it definitely wasn't as strong a show without them.
No, it definitely focused more on the builds, though. Like the one episode that I distinctly remember of it recently was tackling Indiana Jones myths, and a lot of the episode was just hanging out with Adam, like watching him make a model of the chamber with the golden idol.
Oh, that's so cool.
Out of like foam, and just like building it like to scale, and then a lot of just like how do we build the chasm that Indy's gonna swing across with a whip. So it's really cool. I feel like it shifts a lot toward the aesthetic that Matt, you're talking about with Savage Builds. But just, you know, like they do like two big ones, and that's about it. So there's no like side. I honestly haven't seen a lot of explosions in what I've watched of it so far. Makes me sad because I'm about them explosions.
There are plenty of explosions in Savage Builds that I can recommend as well.
Oh, very good. Well, as long as there's explosions, I'm in.
You have a one-track mind. Well, Rachel, let's shift to your one-track mind. What have you been watching lately? What is the most recent thing you watched that you wish to talk about?
Well, I'm not done yet, but listeners, Matt Storm and I recently attended a convention called FlameCon.
Correct.
Very good convention, LGBTQ plus recommended con. You know, it's very much for the nerds of the queer community. To get together, and there's a lot of artists and a lot of vendors and a lot of panels, and I love it. It's one of my favorite weekends to do in New York. I will sing its praises until the next one. There's
it was a blast. Yes, there's going to be a next one.
Of course, I'm so glad. But in my journey around the floor, of FlameCon, I acquired many lovely items, some from properties that I was deeply familiar with, pretty much like all McElroy properties and Steven Universe stuff. But there was one vendor that had a beautiful back patch, a big like iron-on patch, and I've needed something for my very cool, rad denim jacket to really set it off to the next level. And one of the vendors, whose name I cannot recall now, but one of the bigger ones off to the sides, was selling a big back patch of a long-haired pink character in silhouette with a phrase that said, "This prince saves herself." And I just loved it as like a mission statement, as like a big old, like, I'm going to stick this on my back and I'm going to live my best New York City life walking around in my cool denim jacket. And I discovered upon asking around, mostly talking to a friend of the podcast, Raina Sinclair, that it is from an anime called Revolutionary Girl Utena. And so I started watching Revolutionary Girl Utena, and I love it.
That's an older anime, isn't it?
It is an older anime.
Yeah, I thought so.
And it's so gay. Holy crap. Guys, okay.
Amazing.
So the premise of this show, if you are not familiar, if you are younger than I am, which is most everyone, I imagine, these days, it follows a middle schooler or high schooler by the name of Utena Tenji. And she, when she was small, and this is always told through like a flashback fairy tale look, this young princess lost her parents, and she was crying over their graves, and all of a sudden a prince arrived and gave her a rose ring onto her finger and said, "This will help you find me again." And he dried her tears and he went away. And this young princess, who is pretty much Utena because she does the voiceover for this section, decided that she wanted to be a prince. That was the lesson she learned. She's like, I want to be a prince. And so this young high schooler, Utena, always dresses in the boys' uniforms, wants to be a prince. All of the girls love her so much. They're all just like, Utena, oh, like losing their minds. And one day her best friend writes a love letter to a boy in the student council, and he posts it on a wall. And Utena is so mad that she like challenges him to a duel, and she takes a kendo stick and meets him at this like crazy platform with an upside down floating castle, and she fights him. So this student council boy has like quote unquote possession of this other student named Anthe. And she is the Rose Bride, and whoever wins the duel gets the Rose Bride. But the Rose Bride has like magic, and he like pulls a sword out of the Rose Bride, very much like Lion in Steven Universe. But Utena wins the duel with her kendo stick, and then she becomes engaged to Anthe, the Rose Bride, and then they start living together by themselves in like this weird dorm. And I love it. And it's so weird, and I love it, and it's so weird. Like, I thought nothing could get stranger than Oron Host Club. And then I started watching Revolutionary Girl Utena, and I'm just like, nope, this is bizarre. Also a big inspiration for Rebecca Sugar while creating Steven Universe. So if you like Steven Universe, you'll probably dig Revolutionary Girl Utena. I'm
unsurprised that was an inspiration for Rebecca Sugar.
Yeah, the guy pulls a sword out of a girl, and I was just like, this is, I know, I see you, Rebecca Sugar. I see you. For real.
It's a show that I know I've heard the name of. I've probably seen episodes of, but I couldn't tell you about it off the top of my head. Like, this stuff sounds familiar. Also, like, old school anime was weird as hell.
Oh, yeah. There's, like, just randomly some shadow women that just, like, do, she doesn't know. Ha, 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 ho, ho, ho. And it's, like, I think it's, like, I don't know. Like, I want to say that maybe it's like an element of like Japanese theater, but I don't know. But it's just like these two shadow figures just in the middle of the episode, like speaking like cryptically and sometimes in rhyme. And then one time they're cowboys, and I don't get it, and I love it so much. I love this show, and I'm just waiting to be done with this so I can watch more.
I mean, you do you. It sounds like you're really enjoying it.
Bonkers.
I'm sold.
Yeah, it's great. And then Anthe has a little mouse friend named Choo Choo because it's anime, and of course she does. And there's like, Anthe just keeps insisting that Utena and she are engaged, and she's the Rose Bride, and she'll do whatever Utena says. And Utena's like, you need to not do this. It's really weird. Like, can you just stop with this engagement stuff? I cannot. I love it.
How
yeah.
would you describe this show you have become so quickly and passionately a fan of in 3 words? Do you have 3 words to describe exactly?
Revolutionary girl Utena?
I mean, yes.
Can I say that? Because I feel like that's it. It's okay. Hold on, I gotta adjust a mic real quick.
No worries.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Did I break
didn't
it?
tighten it enough. It's fine.
Sorry.
Don't worry. That's what I'm here to edit for. Haha, also gave me time to think about it. And I didn't come up with anything else.
The title of the show can be your 3-word review. We've done that before.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because I'm only like 5 episodes in, and so I don't really know where it's going to go. But if I had to convince someone to watch this show with me, it's so gay. I love it.
That's
so
a great
gay.
way to describe it.
Oh my God, I can't believe just how like I imagined, because it was a feature of fandom at FlameCon, that it like, you know, like Good Omens is something that's very easy to like, you know, draw into and be like, ah, yes, these are 2 characters who are in love with each other, you know, and in that way where like someone could read it very much like that, but then other people could like not. And this is just like overt. Like, no joke. It's just like the girls love Utena so much. They like swoon over her like she's senpai. And I just love it. It's so gay. And I'm so excited about it.
That's
and like,
great.
Even like the boys fawning over Anthe, like a lot of it's very much like, not so like, I'm a boy and I'll possess you. It's like, I want to play piano and you like playing piano, so I want you to be the Rose Bride to play piano with me because my sister played piano too. It's so weird. I love it. It's on YouTube. Go watch it. It's great.
All right.
Oh my God, it's so good.
So final review, Case, in case you missed it. It's so gay.
It's so
Done.
gay. And you can put periods after each of those, because in my head I did. So it's so gay. Oh, it's so good. So good. I'm obsessed. I hope it doesn't turn bad in like the end. And I got so excited about this, and then all of a sudden it does something like really weird, and then I'm gonna be sad about it. I don't think so, because like it was repping at FlameCon, and
yeah,
I trust the taste of FlameCon a lot.
I mean, I feel like also Raina would have given you a heads up if it was going to go that route. I mean, look, you're not watching Ava, so I think you'll be okay.
Ava?
Yeah.
Evangelion.
Oh, no, I did watch a little bit of Evangelion.
No, it's a trip.
Yeah, that one's real. I feel like that is very much like on the level of like The Handmaid's Tale, where I can only watch like 1 or 2 episodes of it and just be like, I gotta tap out, man.
Oh, I go beyond that. I say watching the entire series is like trying to watch Requiem for a Dream more than once.
Yeah,
It's just not a thing you should do.
He's so sad. The boy is so sad.
It goes beyond that. Anyway,
Oh boy.
moving on.
They live with a penguin though, so anime.
That's true.
I love anime. It's so weird. Love it. Anyway, I'm done talking about this, but I'll talk about it all day. If you want to like tweet at me and talk to me about Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant, I will just go there with you. So don't even worry, listeners. But we got to move on because I'll take up the whole show. Liz, what was the last thing that you watched?
Oh, man. I just rewatched one of my very, very favorite shows called Over the Garden Wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
and
a good
I don't
one.
know if anyone's talked about it on here yet.
I don't think so. I think we've mentioned it as like a piece of something, like as a discussion, but I don't think anyone's brought it to the table to review.
Oh, it's exceptional. It's so good. It's got incredible rewatch value. Every time I watch it, I get something new out of it. But what it is a story. I don't want to spoil it for anyone because it is very sweet. And it's very complicated.
You know what?
Mind.
Here's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say if you haven't seen Over the Garden Wall, it's been out for like 5-6 years. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. This is your spoiler warning. If you don't want to get Over the Garden Wall spoiled for you, stop this podcast now. Go watch it. Come back. We'll still be here talking about it, but I'm gonna lift the worries about spoilers. Go hard in it.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, don't stop watching now if you have. Stop listening now if you haven't watched it. Go watch it. But yeah, so basically, it's sort of okay. I've never read Dante's Inferno.
Me either.
But I am told that it is a retelling of Dante's Inferno through the eyes of children. And their magical talking bluebird friend, Beatrice. And essentially, it's a teenage boy and his young brother, Greg, who's voiced by an actual child, who's a true delight, traipsing through the intermediate afterlife, like I guess limbo, you could say, which is sort of an enchanted forest and a world inhabited by sundry and strange creatures and people. It's musical. They sing. And oh gosh, how else could I describe it? I can do the 3-word review.
So
how would you describe it?
I always go back to it being kind of like a modern fairy tale. It's
for sure.
It's very whimsical and
and dark in the way that like old school fairy tales are dark. There's like a guy who like, does he collect bones? Or
No.
He collects peat light. He's got a light.
Yeah.
And he eats people. I forget. It's been a minute since I watched Over the Garden Wall. I usually reserve it for the fall. It's like a fall rewatch thing for me. So I'll probably watch it in like October.
Oh yeah, I certainly will again. Yeah, there's a woodsman who has to keep this lantern lit.
Yes.
By chopping down trees, which we find out later are the souls of dead people. Well, people who've given up.
Yeah.
They turn into trees, and then he chops them up and puts them in a lantern.
Yeah, I knew there was something nefarious in what he was doing. But his like daughter's in the lantern.
Yeah. The lantern actually houses. This is a big spoiler.
Oh yeah, big spoiler. It's fine. We already did it.
Yeah. The lantern actually houses the soul of the beast.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this show so much. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really interesting how they balance drama and comedy in this because there are so many delightfully funny and silly moments.
Potatoes and molasses.
Or rock facts. But at the end of
It's
the
a rock fact.
But
I should start saying my facts like it's a rock fact.
I used to do it all the time.
It's a rage fact.
But it, just the same, like it turns on its head pretty quickly, and often when things go awry, like when they find the pumpkin village, and like pretty much any of the stories always take a darker turn at some point, and then it kind of comes back, and it's just the balance of the show I think is really great. I watched it because friends of mine were visiting from Philly, and it casually came up that Sarah, my spouse, and I had not seen it, and they went, "Oh, we're sitting down and watching it," and then we just watched the whole whatever it is, hour and a half, 2 hours of it, straight. And it was great. I loved it, and I highly recommend that. It's episodic, but you should just sit and watch it in one sitting. You can absolutely get through it, and it makes it that much stronger, I feel like.
Yeah, it also has like the ring of like an old school like fictional work, kind of like a Gilgamesh or like a Mad Max, where like they go, like the two characters go from place to place and sort of like solve a problem in one episode or learn something new, but then there's like this big overarching story about like how they got there and how they're gonna get back home and why Greg is wearing a teapot on his head, and that's the best thing.
That is that, and the frog.
Yeah, the frog. Mm-hmm. And it's also got like a ton of really good like folk music.
Yeah.
Like I highly recommend if you've seen it already, go, and if you haven't seen it already, why are you listening to this if you haven't seen it already? The soundtrack's amazing. Like the blasting company who did the music for it, chef's kiss. Ugh, so good. I love it. I think it's great. So Liz, if you had to describe Over the Garden Wall in 3 words that aren't over the garden or wall, sorry, I have to enforce a rule that I just broke today because I can, and I'm the boss here.
That's true.
I am the boss. How would you describe Over the Garden Wall?
I would say
It doesn't have to be a complete sentence. Also, it can be like 3 like words that just like mean something to you.
okay. I don't think it's going to be a complete sentence. I would say that it is a creepy, charming allegory.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. That's very, very good. Ugh,
Just
I
like
love
Over
it.
the Garden Wall.
I love when they go to the school.
Oh, man. Poor Langtree.
Oh, so sad.
The school for animals.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that, like, it's, you know, it's the kind of thing that I would compare to Gravity Falls and Steven Universe and Adventure Time, as far as something that is not what it's not what you expect. You know, where it starts and where it ends up are 2 very different places, and that's a good thing. Like, it's a transitional material, I feel like, something that you learn and grow with it, and it evolves a world that you're in very naturally, and I like that.
Yeah, and I think the level of planning that went into it was really spectacular too. I don't know that much about the behind the scenes, but I was told that they were working on it for several years before it went into production.
Yeah,
I believe that.
To like plot out the story and put in all the references. Because like if you watch the first episode, the whole story is in the title plate, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it was from the creators of Adventure Time, and yeah, it was like they wanted to do something that wasn't Adventure Time, that would stand alone.
Yeah.
And they'd been planning on it for a while, and like Elijah Wood, from what I hear, was like on board from the beginning. Like he read like the first script and was like, I want to do this. And he said that in interviews that while he loves all the things that he's done, and he's always happy to talk to his fans about anything that he's done, he finds that the most heartfelt fans, or the people who have like the most personal stories, are when they're connecting with him about Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah.
Which
I
I
mean,
believe.
That's what happens when people who play D&D make media.
Pretty much.
Like, are we kidding? It's the best. Like, if you're going to play act storytelling, you probably understand storytelling in an interesting way. Like, in the same way Adventure Time is a Dungeons and Dragons campaign gone awry. In the way Dungeons and Dragons campaigns are wont to go awry.
Yeah.
The main character loses his arm in that show. This is for
Twice.
children. Twice.
Yeah.
He kills his grass self.
Oy.
Spoilers for Adventure Time. I don't care.
Yeah.
I love it. I wish there was a way to put more singing in Dungeons and Dragons, you know?
I mean,
That's why every party needs a bard.
yeah, I was gonna say, and if you're and at least when I played D&D last and played a bard, my DM made me prepare actual songs. Like, I either had to sing a song or pick an actual song that exists, so I don't torture people with my terrible singing voice, and play that song. And he made me do it for every campaign, and so I think my rallying cry was "Never Gonna Give You Up," which, you know, is classic.
Love it.
Wow. The ye old Ricketh roll.
The ye old Ricketh roll, exactly.
Amazing. Ugh.
So,
Dungeons and Dragons.
so Liz, thank you for being on the show. So tell us a
Thank
little bit
you.
about the kinds of things you're looking for in media these days. You know, we have a lot of guests who come on and talk about the kinds of things they're watching. We always have the guests at least talk about the most recent thing, but like, I don't think we've asked a guest recently, like, what's the kind of media you're engaging with the most these days? Is it streamable stuff? Is it stuff airing on actual TV? Is it stuff on YouTube? Like, where are you going to for the stuff you watch?
Oh, definitely streamable stuff. And I feel as though lately I've been watching a lot of live action and kind of dramatic stuff. I don't know if you count Jane the Virgin and Glow as dramatic.
I mean,
I'll take it. Yeah,
I would say
they're-
dramedy, because I'd say,
Yeah,
even though I haven't watched them,
definitely,
I know
like,
that they
have heavy
handle
themes.
serious stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
For
so
sure.
I've been watching them. I
Yeah.
catching up on Jane the Virgin and Glow and Handmaid's Tale,
Yeah.
which is not funny.
You've been watching what's the HBO one with the landlord lady?
Oh, I did watch Gentleman Jack.
Gentleman Jack. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good and so sweet. And I want there to be another season, but I don't know if there will be because Ann Lister died like 2 years after they got married in the real world. And it was really sad. And I'm sad that they're dead at all because I love them.
Everybody dies eventually.
That's true.
If Sawbones
in the
can be any
1830s.
indication, everybody dies eventually.
Yeah, and of something.
Everybody's gonna be fit. We're all gonna be fit. Welcome to our show podcast.
Yeah, I don't have time to be fit. I've got too many other things to do.
Too many projects. I'm too busy to be fit. That should be a shirt. I'm too busy to be fit. I would wear that shirt.
I know you would.
I'm too busy to be fit. And it's just like a that image of like the business lady who's got all the arms and she's got like a cell phone in one hand and like a laptop in another and like that, that image that's like all over corporate shit all the time. I want that to be the image, but it's like holding a switch and holding a phone and holding a remote and like having a TV and a book, and like a comic book, I would just love that. I'm too busy to be fit. I'm too busy. It should be, I'm too busy binging to be fit.
Ooh,
I mean,
I like it.
That's also a real thing.
I'm going to get that tattooed on my ass. I'm sorry. I'm real excited to be here today.
That's fine. You're excited to be
beautiful.
here most days, as far as I know.
It's true. So Liz, I'm gonna step aside from the world of professionionalism, and I'm gonna dig into some personal stuff, if that's cool. Nothing too
Sure.
personal. I'm not gonna make you uncomfortable. But I met you, Liz, doing that job we don't speak of here on the podcast.
Another person from that job. We've had many guests
All the talented people I know
are from
I
that
met
job.
From that terrible job.
Okay. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, so you worked at that job as wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
You studied theater through the costuming arts, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you sort of shifted during the time I knew you from that to being a tutor and a teacher and someone, and you were always into math. Even when you were still costuming at the job we do not speak of, and I was wondering where does the math come from? That's just what I want to know, and I've wanted to ask you this like all the time, but I was like, I'm gonna save it for the podcast. Where did your joy and your interest in math begin?
Oh, like in my life?
Yeah.
Oh man, I got to algebra and I was like, oh, it's not about numbers. And then I was so happy because you just sit there and solve puzzles. And they're not very hard puzzles if you know the rules. And then I kept taking math and I got to college and I was like, well, I'm not going to spend $250,000 on one major. So I spent $250,000 on two majors.
Ooh, thrifty.
Yeah. So 2 for the price of 1. I double majored in mathematics and drama costume design at NYU. Don't recommend it.
Yeah, you could have bought an island, my friend.
Could have. Why did I do that? It was stupid.
It wasn't stupid. You made a choice, and now you have a laudable institution as your place of knowledge.
That's true.
But you could have bought an island.
I could have bought an island. Yeah, didn't think about it.
It's
So,
okay. I'd rather have the education over the island any day.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So you double majored in both costuming, theater costuming, and mathematics.
Yeah, and
Very cool.
everyone always asks me, where's the overlap? There's none. There's no overlap.
Yeah. I feel like the closest overlap is like converting inseams to other measurements.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just like, I don't know, knowing how to do fractions.
Yeah.
But they don't teach you that in the math major. They make you read things like abstract algebra and set theory. I don't understand it. That's why I say you shouldn't call me a mathematician.
But I think that you more. I mean, okay, if we're gonna do this thing, here we go. Are you ready for Coach Shank to step up real quick?
Oh, I'm
Do
ready
it.
for Coach Tank.
Listen, a lot of people spend a lot of time learning a lot of things, and if you are doing the thing in a way that you learned how to do something, then you are that thing. Like you are teaching the youth of our nation math. Yes?
That's what they tell me.
Yeah, so you're doing the thing. Like all it takes to be something is to like own that you're being something. You know, it doesn't come from other people telling you that you're a thing. It comes from you just being like, well, I do this thing, so I'm this thing. Like I don't really go out and perform much anymore, but I still own that I'm a performer, you know, like I am what I do, and you do math things, and I think that makes you as valid a mathematician as Descartes,
Aww.
who was also a philosopher and a theologian and a real weird dude. So there you go. But he was a mathematician, and I think you're like the Descartes of this podcast.
Oh, I'm so honored.
I can't think of another mathematician. I've been reading a little book of philosophy, and that was the first one I was like, who did numbers in that book? Oh, God.
He did do numbers.
Yeah.
Euler.
Euler. Yeah. Oh, Euler. Yeah, you're also, you named your dog Euler. After the mathematician Euler.
Yep. So
Yeah.
there you go.
So there you go. Like, I think that you shouldn't diminish your skill at a thing. I think that you do it, and I'm glad that you do it. And I think it's a beautiful and interesting perspective that you bring as a person to this world.
Thanks, Rachel.
You're welcome.
That's really sweet.
I have a follow-up question. If we're going to talk
Coach
about
Shank out.
if we're going to talk about you being an educator and being someone who is teaching math and working to improve the young minds of this country, have you ever? There are tons of ridiculous movies with like bizarre teacher caricatures in them. Has there been one that you can recall that really pisses you off, like in a TV show or a movie? Like off the top of my head, I always think of like the young hot teacher who the student falls in love with. Like, are there any?
That's the problem, not just because of education, but just in general.
Well, right, and sexism and other things.
Thanks, Fire Emblem, for making that seem okay. How dare you?
It is not a perfect thing.
It's fine.
But have you ever seen like a representation of teachers or educators in movies that have really like rubbed you the wrong way or pissed you off or just particularly memorable for some reason?
I don't think that I've ever been pissed off by a depiction of an educator in a film, just because.
I don't think Liz gets pissed off about things.
I mean, some things. I get pissed off that I have to teach people about parabolas year in and year out. Nobody needs to know how to graph a parabola. But yeah, I have to anyway.
Moment of all time on this podcast.
I don't know. I'm thinking right now of Tina Fey's character in Mean Girls.
I mean, she was pretty great in that.
Yeah, I just aspire to be like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we all aspire to be like Tina Fey. That's a good goal.
Yeah. Be the Tina Fey you want to see in the world, listeners. That's good. I'm sorry. That's just. I thought that was a good platitude to put on there.
It was. I had to
Fine.
pause and think about it for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah. Listen, I feel like you could do that with any entity that you enjoy. You just say, be the blank you want to see in the world. You know, be the gritty you want to see in the world.
I don't think we need more than one gritty in this world. I think one is enough.
It's true.
Well,
I love gritty.
I mean, his social media is pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty great.
Fire. It's great. But But Liz, also in the true style of a Renaissance individual, you are a costumer. You know, like, I'm not good at asking questions. It's fine. I'm panicking about this now. What piece have you seen recently that you think really nailed costuming? I know I've had a lot of conversations with the beginning of Game of Thrones and like the shift into less lovely costuming into like really good costuming at the end. But besides Game of Thrones, because I don't want to think about Game of Thrones. I'm sorry I brought it up. It's like my bad ex. You know, I like shouldn't bring it up, but I do. What's something that you really laud for its costume design or costume language?
Ooh. Oh, I like that. I am a huge sucker for really good period pieces. So I remember, oh man, I'm even really behind on it, but I loved Outlander. Mm-hmm. And like the amount of research that went into the tartans, I was like, oh, drooling over it. They wove them. They like requested they be woven in these tartans that were these like historical families tartans. I was drooling over it, and they fold them themselves. They make the actors like lay on the ground. And anyway, I'm a really big fan of Outlander. Also Gentleman Jack.
Yeah.
Because what's crazy is they're set in the 1830s, which in my opinion is a pretty freaking ugly period in fashion history. It's very droopy. And they hadn't invented the steel crinoline yet. So women wore like 6 petticoats or whatever it is.
To get the lift.
Yeah. And so it's kind of funny because you couldn't walk when your legs are all jammed up with fabric. So it's kind of like another way women are oppressed.
Yeah.
Boy,
So
yeah.
we could write a book charting the oppression of women through clothing.
They have been written.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do love Gentleman Jack because they make it look pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it. I can't even remember the costume designer's name is right now, but they make it
That's
quite
okay.
attractive.
Everyone has IMDb. They can look it up.
That's true. Yeah.
Crowdsource it.
Yeah, it's more fun making the listeners do the work.
It's true.
And by the listeners, I mean Rob, really. I feel like
Yeah,
Rob
I'm
is
Rob.
pretty much the only one who replies to the
thanks,
episodes with corrections.
Yeah. We appreciate you, Rob.
And we appreciate you, Liv, for being on the show.
Yeah. Thanks
Oh,
for coming
thanks.
out, Liz.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
This has been
cool.
great.
So before I do the final question, I would love very much to say thank you to John Presnell for the use of the song Aurora off the album Fair Game featuring Stefan Rimble.
I would also like to thank the incredible and previous guest, Katie Bug, for designing our incredible logo.
And thank you to the Certain Point of View Podcast Network for having us as part of the family of shows. If you like what you're listening to here, I highly recommend Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders, or Scruffy Nerf Herders, not Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. A live D&D podcast featuring the universe of Star Wars.
I would also recommend the plethora of nerdy podcasts that are on the network. We have a Superman podcast called Men of Steel, which also dabbles in kind of a general comic bookiness, fun and games with myself and Jeff Moonen, which is a gaming podcast, and beyond. There's a ton of stuff. We also have a Discord channel. If you go to our website, certainpov.com, you can find the link for the Discord and join in the conversation. Yeah. All of the
chat
podcasts have channels to chat with. And those who endured us yammering on last week about the type of merch we'd like to have, we may have some stuff for you in the near future. So stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned. Keep listening. We'll talk about it when it's a thing. It's cool. But yeah. So Liz, before we depart the internet and all go our separate ways like some weird podcast western. It's so weird. I'm really crushing this episode today. I'm all over the place.
It's fine. We're all good. It's fine.
So in storytelling language, there's a lot of repeated pieces of shorthand that have been so used that they have been given the name trope. Like black umbrellas at a funeral, that's a trope. If you could choose any trope from cinema or television to be true in your life, what trope would you choose to manifest to either improve your life or make life harder for someone you dislike? Because I think that's also a valid option at this point. My mom said having lots of guns, so...
Yeah, she's not wrong.
She's not wrong, but also she's a little wrong.
That's true.
It's true.
Oh, man. I don't know. I just find this really funny every time it happens. But when things are going really poorly for a character and they go, well, things couldn't get any worse. And then it starts pouring down rain.
You want it to rain?
I don't know. I liked the rain. It always cheers me up.
You know what? That's actually a very Carol Burnett stance on it. Carol Burnett really likes the rain too, so I like it. I'll take it. I love Carol Burnett. I'm sorry. I'll go for ages on Carol Burnett. We got to stop now.
She's so good.
She's so good. We'll talk about it off air. It's fine. But yeah, no, I like that. Yeah. Also, I'm gonna see that and say you are doing the trope. It's always darkest before the dawn.
Aww.
Yeah, totally.
Be like, it can't get any worse, and then it rains, and then it gets better because
there can be rainbows
That's rock
afterwards.
bottom.
there's always rainbows after rain. The sun will always shine again. It's a circle in around again, because you got to keep your head up, and you can let your hair down. There you go.
That was beautiful,
Thank
Rachel.
you. That was a song. I don't remember what.
I was going to ask. I was like, is that a
Rob,
song?
please don't scream at me the title of that song. I will look it up as soon as we're done, but it's really good. It's a good song. I'll play it out loud after this because copyright and stuff. Matt Storm, thank you so much for being my co-host.
You're welcome, Rachel Shank. Thank you for
Liz
being
Mc-
my co-host.
Oh, thank you. Liz McGlone, thank you so much for being our guest on this episode that went buck wild, and it was mostly my fault.
I feel like
you
most
for
buck
having me.
wildness in the world is your fault at this point.
Probably. I'll
Thank
take
God
it.
for that.
Thank goodness, for sure. And thank you, listener. Talk to us not only on the Discord channel, but also on our Twitter at @screen_snark and our Instagram of the same handle.
Yes, and or you can send us an email at screensnark@gmail.com. But probably
we have
those, but we barely check the email, so probably the social media is better.
Yeah, do the social thing for sure. And use hashtag Rachel is a dummy or Buckwild Rachel.
Buckwild Rachel, I like that. Let's make that a
Or
hashtag.
Rachel's the best.
Yeah, that one
Hashtag I
too.
love Rachel.
Validate me, internet. It's time.
This has been great.
This has been Screen Snark, and I have been your host, Rachel Corgi Shank.
I have been your other host, Matt, aka Stormageddon. And we will see you at the movies or on a couch somewhere.
Aurora, 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 Aurora. Metal to magnet, she will be mine. Aurora.
Are we the screen beans on a couch somewhere?
I feel like we're all screen beans.
Yeah, it's true. You're a screen bean. I'm a screen bean. We all screen for screen beans.
Is that what you're going to call your viewership?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's their new name instead of movie fans because we stopped doing just movies.
correct.